I woke that morning with half my face swollen and throbbing. Another bad tooth. I went and sat in the bathroom with an ice pack pressed against my face and bawled.
Come on, guys, let's go fishing.
Not because of the pain, but out of sheer frustration. I knew the tooth was going. I'd even managed to set aside $150 for the dentist over the last few months, but it was a far cry from the $650 the dentist needed for a root canal and a crown. It had only been a month since I'd lost the use of my little toe on my right foot. I'd stubbed the hell out of it on my piano bench, and though that toe had been broken before, the pain was so intense I thought it best to get it x-rayed. The x-ray showed a mess of splintered, fragmented bones and tendons torn away from their anchor points. The doctor referred me to an orthopedic surgeon who reviewed my x-rays and said, "It's a real mess in there. I'd like to schedule you for surgery." He continued on, telling me how the bone pieces would need to be removed from my toe and a rod would be their replacement. He warned me that taking no action would result in the toes becoming increasingly painful and arthritic. "Can I schedule you for next week?" he asked earnestly. Doctor, how much will this cost?"
Financially, I'm in a lot of trouble already. I don't even know what's wrong with me yet. So I haven't even been able to think about how we're going to treat something should I be diagnosed. I'm currently homeless. I'm getting assistance for food. And when it comes to my health care, I don't know how I'm paying for my health insurance next month.
Even though I need the money, even though I need to be working 2 or 3 jobs to afford my expenses, I can't. And that's, I'm living at home. I'm very fortunate to have family support.
For lack of an extra $300 a month from the time he was diagnosed to today, I am paying with 22, 25 maybe years of his life.
The cancer was very worrisome, but it was pre-cancer, so I wasn't real worried. And my doctor assured me that if I got it taken care of, that it would not turn into cancer. So I put like a lot of my faith in my physician. Whereas the paperwork to try to get charity for this surgery that I had to have, it's just going on every day after day after day to try to get this paperwork done in time. So that I would say that's a bigger stressor.
And it wasn't until a year of these struggles, of losing my income, of having my workers' comp claim dismissed with a 2% impairment rating. They paid me $3,700 for 2% permanent impairment. And that was it. And within months, I had lost everything and was literally out on the street because there's no place to go.
"Doctor, how much will this cost?" "Not much, about $5,000. I have openings in the surgical schedule for next Thursday." He sat there looking at me, waiting for my consent. The paper cover I sat on crinkled loudly in the silence. I dropped my head and I said, "I can't afford that. I have no medical insurance, and frankly, that's more than I paid for my truck." "Oh," he replied. "In that case, I wouldn't worry about it too much. The circulation is good. It will never work again, but there's no danger of infection." He shook my hand and left the room. I hobbled out to my truck and cried for over an hour. The loss of toe in the grand scheme of my life wasn't that awful. I could still walk, I could still hike, for now, but someday soon it was going to start hurting and it would never stop. Constant and continuous pain. I'd already had enough pain to last me a lifetime. Over the years, I've lost teeth, a finger, and a few toes to poverty. I try to rationalize. It's not that bad. It's just one tiny body part. But it is that bad. These are only the injuries people can see.
It just made me feel like I don't matter in the community, you know. Like I'm just a grain of sand that doesn't matter, like somebody who's, say, a lawmaker or a business owner.
There's no words really to say how that feels, because it's bewildering and it's unbelievable and it's so intense that you spend most of your time navigating what you have to do now than thinking about it. But mostly it feels like despair and rage.
If I had to deal with mental health by itself, I probably could do it. If I had to deal with physical health by itself, I could probably do it. Both of them, it remains to be seen if I can do it. It's a situation that I know I can't handle by myself. This is not a situation where you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
What I hope is that everybody that sees this comes away with going, well, that could be me. I want them to be as upset and as determined to try to change things as I am, because nobody should go through this. And I'm somebody who has a lot of skills and a lot of abilities and a lot of tenacity. And for me to hit so many brick walls, it's no accident. It's not done without intent. And if anybody's going to take anything away from this, I would hope it be the intent to demand change.
My story is your story. My story is my neighbor's story. My story is my best friend's story, my teacher's story, my student's story. My story is like 50-something% of the nation's story. And I'm going to lose my husband 30 years sooner than I should. And I am probably the best capable and educated person to have used whatever other resources are out there for him. So when somebody says to me, you don't need for the government to step in and do this, there are options out there. I want them to understand that I know that because I am using every single one of them. And I am still going to lose him in 5 to 7 years because we were never insured.
A lifetime of stress induced by poverty has stooped my back. It's given me a nervous stomach that makes me throw up when my stress is too high, and it induces days of stomach-churning diarrhea. And it causes migraines so bad that sometimes I'm in bed for a whole day, often much longer. I lost my uterus in the same manner I lost my toe. Years of battling scar tissue and severe pain resulted in a doctor telling me it would be far cheaper in the long run to remove these parts. What choice does a person with no resources have? These are the injuries people don't see. They don't see the hopelessness I feel. They don't see the what-if fear that resides in my heart. They don't see my anger. Why doesn't my body have any value to society? They don't see my self-worth plummeting with each loss of little part. Why doesn't anyone care? These are the injuries that stack up and make it even harder for me to escape. Someday, I'll have no body parts left to lose. Living in poverty is a slow death sentence. I washed the tears from my face with cold water. I brushed my hair, and I pasted a half-assed smile on my swollen face. It was time for work. What choice did I have? We're leaving people to die in the name of profit. And there's something really wrong with that.
What's so wrong not wanting more? Why is that dream worth less than yours? What's so wrong with not wanting more?
What's so wrong with not wanting more? It doesn't raise profits in a corporate store.